Disney has made a pretty significant change, although this is something they've done intermittently before. But this new rule is that Disney Springs resort bus and boat transportation verification is back. And this time, it's permanent.
So beginning June 28th, in order to take a resort bus or resort boat along the Sassagoula River from Disney Springs, you must have a hotel reservation, dining reservation, or resort activity reservation to do so. To be clear, you don't have to specifically have a hotel reservation at that particular hotel to get on the bus. You just have to have a Disney Resort Collection hotel reservation. So you can't be staying at like Good Neighbor hotels or the Disney Springs hotels or like a Gateway hotel, whatever they call them now. It has to be a like Disney Resort Collection hotel.
Does that include like dining reservations? Does it have to be at the specific hotel that you're trying to get on the bus to?
Yes. So like you can't make a dining reservation for like Grand Floridian Cafe and then get on the Polynesian bus.
Gotcha.
It has to be for that resort.
Gotcha.
So cast members will scan magic bands or cards to confirm that you have a valid reservation before boarding. They last tested this in Easter, because it was a busy time. And I guess, they liked the way it worked and it worked well. Disney has not officially released the reasons they have done this officially. But from what I understand is to trying to alleviate some of the congestion with parking at Disney Springs. Is that because, especially at busy times, the parking garages get pretty full and it's really hard to find a space. And they also are trying to discourage maybe non-Disney resort hotel guests to park at Disney Springs and then take a resort bus to either resort or wherever, and then in order to go to the parks without paying for parking. Is another potential reason. And the buses get crowded too at Disney Springs. So maybe they just want to alleviate some of that. Maybe they want to, save on the labor costs of driving buses. I know you're going to talk about that.
Well, I think this is more than likely multifaceted.
Yeah, I gave us a bunch of reasons.
Yeah. Right? Well, I don't think, I agree. I don't think it's one singular thing. And this has got a lot of people very upset.
Dude, people are really mad about this.
Well, I think part of the reason is when you look at this all cumulative, all the changes that have happened in the past, especially since COVID, let's say last 6 years, this is yet another thing that people are going to look at and say, oh, this is the first step in more restrictions in the resort. This is going to be the next thing they start maybe monetizing, which is definitely possible. I think if you look at the way Disney has behaved historically, first off, when there are loopholes in something and it hits enough critical mass, which there's plenty of social media influencers, if you want to say that, whatever you want to call them. I think that's an insult, but personally, but that, talk about parking hacks and you can park here and bypass this stuff. If enough people start doing it, Disney always will come and eventually crack down on it. Mm-hmm. So that could be part of this. I don't know if that's, it's a hassle to do that, by the way. You'd have to go to Disney Springs, then take a bus to a resort, then take a bus from that resort to the theme park to bypass the parking, which I'm sure some people will do, but obviously you're talking, that's going way out of your way to avoid parking for $35, however much it is.
There are people that will do it.
There will. So maybe there's enough people that they're just like, hey, we're going to crack down on this and not allow that anymore. I think part of this is as well, and I think this is a self-inflicted problem, I'd say the Polynesian, which is you already had a very popular resort that people are staying there would use those amenities, people that are coming in to eat at the restaurants and do all that stuff. Then you throw in the DVC tower, which they don't have a lot of their own amenities, so they share amenities. So now everything at the Polynesian is already more jam-packed with people. Plus you throw in people that want to, they want to resort hop. Now you got a situation where people that are paying all this money to stay at these hotels can't even really use the amenities because it's so crowded.
It's the same issue over at Grand Floridian. It's the same issue at even like Riviera. Just the ones that are closest to the parks, but have the most the more activities, or the dining is especially good. Like those are the places that are going to have this problem.
Yes. And so you could say, okay, this is trying to bring more value back to people staying on property, or incentivize people to stay on property. And we've talked about before as well, like there's not a lot of, I would say perks to staying on Disney property have dwindled over the years. So maybe this is a way to create more value by doing things like that. But I also think when you're looking at this, and I understand why people have this reaction, it's like this may be the first step in, I guess you could say, monetizing the bus transportation system potentially. And the reason
I don't know.
We don't know, but the reason I think it's a possibility
mm-hmm.
is I did run some numbers, and it's an estimate, but if you look at how much the Disney transportation costs Disney per year, including like labor, gas, buses, all this stuff, all the available information out there, anywhere from $150 to $400 million a year is what Disney spends on transportation costs. So if you're looking at this and you look at how Disney's behaved, fast passes used to be free. Now that is something that is paid for. A lot of these things that used to be free are no longer free. And so this could be a step in that direction of monetizing transportation around Walt Disney World, because if you have a lot of people and they would, I'm using the verbiage that they may use here. They say a lot of these people are, taking up resources. They're not spending as much money. They're clogging up the resorts, and they want to kind of clean up some of that traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I think eventually they charge for it? I actually think it's a possibility that they could eventually implement like some sort of bus pass or transportation pass. And I also did run some numbers on that with the help of AI here about if they were going to do that, what would be a cost per person that would like essentially break even? Like the transportation costs would pay for themselves anywhere from $5 to $15 per person per day. Now, I think it's feasible that you could see Disney charging $5 per day to be able to use the bus transportation. It's included if you are a resort guest, or maybe if you're an AP as well or something like that. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they could do it.
I don't see this happening. I don't see this happening. I just see them just restricting people that are not hotel guests being able to get on it. That's all I see.
And I'm not saying they're going to do this. I'm just saying, I think if you're looking at, personally speaking, as companies use AI more and more, this seems like to me that if you went to AI and you've plugged in all your stuff and you say, hey, find me areas of our business that costing us a lot of money that we could maybe, try and increase some revenue around here. I feel like bus transportation would be a big one. It would say, hey, you got a huge expense here. I mean, we never probably thought Magical Express would go away.
Yeah.
And that went away.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's plausible. But I think the difference here is you're talking about an Iger, maybe call it regime, versus a Damara one. And is there going to be a difference here? Is this something that maybe this is just for the paying guest experience? It is possible. We saw Universal do that with the Express Pass with Hagrid's. They're pulling that off seemingly for the general guest experience.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a move in that direction. It could stop at this, although I think likely you might see this at other places. Maybe if it could be a test run at Disney Springs to see how this works, how it flows, and it ends up being something they do at all of the bus stops at some point. I think it's possible.
Well, this one specifically, like this issue specifically, like it's not affecting Disney Resort Hotel guests. You're not affected by this. This is that you'll have to scan your band to check that you have a reservation, but you're not affected. So moving on to those that are, I guess, locals, you would say may be affected. Annual pass holders. I mean, yes, if you were doing this to visit the parks without having to park at the actual, or to visit the resorts without having to park at the actual resort, yeah, this would affect you. But you also get free parking for like the parks. Just park at the parks and then go to the resort. It's like the same amount of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes, you it may be a little bit more of a hassle, but you can also do it. This really affects those that are staying off property and want to use the free bus transportation. The free bus transportation is for resort guests. It's not for off-property guests. Yes, you are able to use it because they haven't been checking. But if they're going to start introducing this verification system, then they're just substantiating what they already say. They're not saying free bus transportation for anybody, whoever wants to do it.
They've never made a delineating difference between that, though.
What do you mean?
I don't think they've ever came out and said the Disney bus transportation is specifically for Disney resort guests. I think that's been implied.
It's absolutely for Disney Resort
I
guests.
understand that, but I don't think they've ever come out and explicitly said that.
I don't think they've ever had to. I think
That's what I'm saying.
we're just getting to an issue now where again, they may want to save on the labor costs. They want to say like less buses. In order to do that, they got to get rid of those that are not staying on property.
Well,
off of the buses.
I don't
That's all I'm trying to
I don't disagree,
say.
but I think Disney themselves has many times promoted resort hopping and things like that as well. Because it's
True.
like part of the perk of the whole resort. And it's just one of those things. I think part of this could be the fact that, like, you know, gas prices have been higher. And so that has been more of a cost they've had to eat. The biggest cost that Disney has outside of building attractions is labor. And so if you're looking at just from a strict like economic standpoint of these people are maybe they know this, how much money these people are typically spending. They want to clear out a little bit of this foot traffic here. Like, I do think that is a part of this, but I can't look at this and simply say, I don't think it's feasible that they may end up changing the way the bus transportation or any of the transportation works around property. I think that is plausible. I think it gets messy though if you go this route. Like, to me, if you were going to say, okay, we need to monetize this portion of an expense we have, I feel like what you just could do to make it simpler is, I would imagine this is already the case, is whatever you're paying for a day ticket or a package or whatever it is, part of what you're paying for is including the bus transportation. Like, things that say they're free, like, you're paying for it, you just don't see it. So they would have to then delineate this out and say, well, this is a separate revenue stream or whatever it is. So maybe they don't go that route. They also could do things like validate parking and things like that to, you know, this also goes into parking at the resorts, which I think there will be more of a crackdown on that.
We kind of talked about that last night. Yeah.
You and I were just talking openly about that. It's like, I could see a scenario where, because it's kind of hit and miss. Let's say you want to go to the Poly and it's just, you want to get a drink or something. You want to go to the bar. It depends on how you interact with the security guards, if they let you or not. But you could see a situation where it's like people can come in here and do that, but you're going to have to spend at least, maybe it's $20, maybe it's $30 at a place to get the parking validated. And if you don't do that, then you have to pay whatever that rate is when you're parking. I think that's a possible thing, because I just think if you look at the cost that is associated with this, and especially if they're looking at, okay, we're going to start getting more people coming in when these projects are done, trying to, you know, really trying to push more attendance, it could be trying to stave off an issue they may see down the line as well.
Yeah.
Potentially. But I understand the knee-jerk reaction and people getting upset because it's yet another thing that's changing. But I will just simply say, at Disney Springs alone, like, when's the last time you and I actually took a bus from Disney Springs to, like, anywhere?
We actually talked about this. Jared said he couldn't remember, right? You don't think you did? I may have done it once.
Yeah. I mean, specifically
Maybe
to
once,
like
twice.
go to Disney Springs to do something. It's not something we typically do. So I don't know how much this will have an overall effect of most people on property. This is why I think it could be a test run to see how this goes. And again, they could be trying to build in more value to, like, a perk and more value staying on Disney property. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it could just simply be for the guest experience. That is definitely possible. But it may be kind of irresistible to sit here and say, you know, at the very least, if we could have this where it's paid for, you break even on this, we charge people, and that really could be a way to incentivize people that if they're on the fence about, well, we stay off property, it's cheaper. Well, if we stay at Disney, though, bus transportation's included, all these perks with that. Like, that is a thing I could realistically see them looking at. Especially if, and I'll just put it this way, we talk about, if you look at the wait times lately, both Disney and Universal, very low wait times. And summer has been a time, especially since 2020, it's not as busy as it used to be. That used to be when everybody traveled. Now it's definitely spread out more. And if they're looking at the revenue, they're looking at the attendance, and they don't want to show down quarters, neither resort does, this is when you can start seeing them, like, looking between the couch cushions for a little bit of extra dough. Like, well, okay, well, if we do, what do we charge for this? How much will we might make? Things like this is when you start getting into that mode as well. And I'm not saying, I mean, listen, we've seen Disney have down attendance and still have record-breaking revenue quarters. So
yes, that's true.
You know, that's definitely plausible. But on its face, I don't think like, if you just look at this as it is, I don't think it's a massive deal. But I think it's the potentiality that there could be more that follows this. And I think that's why most people are kind of freaking out about this.
Maybe. I personally don't feel like it's that big of a deal. But that's just my opinion. I don't get the outrage.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't say I'm outraged. I don't ever really get outraged, personally
I know.
speaking. But,
I know.
I'm also, maybe I'm jaded in the fact that, like, I just kind of expect at this point Disney to do stuff like this. Like,
Yeah.
they have a pattern, but maybe, listen, it could be different under tomorrow. Maybe this is something that we haven't seen before. Time will tell if this changes or expands and things like that. But as of now,
For now.
this is how it is going to be.